Hey everybody, welcome back to Bruce's Bees. Today is February 25th. I'm here with Brian Lee. Brian came down from Birmingham to kind of work bees with me today. And so we're excited to go do some splits today, get some splits set up. We're gonna use Corey Stevens' method of queen introduction. And so today we're gonna get them set up and then next week we'll introduce some queens. So Brian, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Brian Lee, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. This is my third year beekeeper, so I'm still young and new. I serve as a vice president for the Shelby County Beekeepers Association at shelbybees.org. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to learning today.
Yeah, you must be committed to come over 3 hours down here. Brian said, hey, if you're ever doing bees, just let me know and I'll come down. And I'm like, well, if you want to see it, come on. And so he did. So here we are. Yeah. We're going to get started. I'm going to try and use the Stevens queen entry method. I'm going to take some brood above the excluder, and then we'll pull that off in, like about a week from now and put some cells in it. I'm just kind of setting up the splits today, and then next week we'll actually make the splits.
Wow.
I haven't been through these colonies a lot lately as far as actually going through them, but overall my bees are looking pretty darn good this year. I'm excited about it. Brian, you were talking about how driving down you noticed a lot of flowers blooming, and literally that's just happened in the last few days. We got all kinds of stuff starting to pop out there. So what I'm looking for is I just want to see some frames of brood. It's always best to go from near the outside when you pull them out to avoid rolling the queen.
Oh, nice.
A lot of honey right there, and they're bringing in some nectar. You can see right here.
Yep.
Nice looking frame. That's a food frame for sure. I'm going to go over a few frames to see. Usually the brood's more towards the middle.
Wow. You got a double deep here as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, nice brood pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, looking down here for queen cells. That's just burcomb. There might be a little queen cell developed right there. I don't know. We'll look further as we go through. One reason I'm trying to do these splits is to avoid having a swarm fest, and maybe we'll be able to slow them down a little bit. You might look in here and say, well, there's not much brood. You see all this right here, but you see how the cells are cleaned out. And if you look in there real closely,
You seeing eggs?
you're seeing eggs, and down here, maybe a little bit of milk brood in the bottom, but you can look at it there, see what you think.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, almost every cell has eggs. So as this brood right here has emerged, the queen's just filling those up with
She's backfilling. Yep.
with eggs. I think more milk brood on this one. You probably can't see it in the camera. It's really hard to see that kind of stuff. One day I'm going to figure out how to focus on that a little better, but when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing there's some shiny, milky looking substance, which means the eggs have recently hatched, and so a small larva is being formed. And if you look in there real closely, you see some crescent-shaped little cells, and those would be probably pretty good for grafting if you wanted to graft. You see
That's a
in there?
good looking frame too. You got your honey band here, your,
Yep.
your pollen.
Yep, it's just a textbook frame. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be able to split these. I want to pull this top box off and look and see what we got down below, and we'll probably pull some frames up from the bottom box as well. And so this particular configuration is gonna be temporary that we're about to do here. I think it's been a while since I've been down in this bottom box. I can't remember if we actually went all the way down here when I got the mite wash. I can't remember if I did that or not, but you can see there's quite a bit of burcomb here between. Just another food type frame here. I see they're a little bit agitated, but they're not really aggressively trying to attack us. You know, people get a little freaked out when the bees get a little flighty like this, but
I guarantee if you come into my house like this, I'm gonna be a little agitated as well.
now look at that, all that brood.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's really laying this up nice. Looking good, Queenie, you're doing a good job. You see a lot of bees with pollen baskets full too. There's one right here.
Nice.
She's covered with pollen too. That little bee right there. She's yellow from all the pollen she's been digging in. Plus she's got the orange colored pollen baskets on her legs there full.
Oh man, that's exciting.
Isn't that fun?
Woo.
One thing about beekeeping that you just can't get through a video is the smells and just the feel of it. You just can't, that's something you can't get through a video, unfortunately. It's beautiful frames of brood. Definitely gonna split these bees. I'm not really seeing any drones much though here in this particular colony, but definitely a lot of bees and help the colony. So here's what we're gonna do.
All right.
I've got some frames over here with some drawn comb and some foundation. So the idea is I wanna pull brood, shake all the bees in the bottom box, make sure the queen's down here, that way you don't have to find her, and then put some frames in here, a couple frames of drawn comb, maybe a frame of foundation down here. Give them something to work on in this bottom box, and a place for that queen to continue to lay. And then we'll pull the brood above the queen excluder, and that'll go into our split next weekend. I guess let's just start shaking bees, man.
All right.
Let's see. I'm gonna look for frames. I want to get frames. I want them to have some younger larvae on there as well, because if they have the younger, by next week it'll be kind of fully developed brood. And so, you know, as these new queens get started, see, this has some larvae in it right here. So we'll take that one, I think, for the split. For a split, we might even be able to get a couple splits out of this. It's going to set these bees back a bit, but that's okay. This queen will just keep on rolling, rocking and rolling, and hope to fill it back up again. And then about the time the big honey flow hits, they'll be ready to go. I'm really trying to grow my numbers this year, believe it or not, Brian. It might seem a little crazy, but oh, look at that frame.
Nice.
Look how beautiful that is right there.
That is nice. Yeah. Got a couple of drones in there.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few around, but see, there's some cells right up here.
Yeah.
So there's a big old drone right there.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take this one possibly for the split because it does have pollen on it. It's also got brood on it. I don't know. We'll decide. Actually, I might leave. I'll keep that one.
Leave that one?
Yeah, because we have some brood up top as well. This has a lot of the younger larvae and brood in there, so we'll take that one.
Let's get a box.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we got to shake these out. We got to shake everything.
All right, let me help you with that.
Let's see. Let's set it over here. Just got to make sure we don't end up with that queen in the top. Just set everything kind of beside, and then we'll go through. So Brian was nervous, man. He was worried about how mean my bees were. I told him, I think you're overthinking it, but you know, they have a reputation, and historically they have been pretty crazy, but they're starting to tone down a little bit.
You want to take the time to look for the queen, or you just want to shake?
If you see her, that's good. If not, nah, I'm not trying to find her. So you can shake those last two out. If you see her, you don't have to shake anymore. You know where she's at, but I just can't afford a lot of time to look for her. Go ahead.
Take a quick glance.
Now, I found this is a little trick I learned a while back. If you got bees on the inside of a box like this, if you just take it right above and do this, they tend to fall in. They don't go down the side. You think they go down the side of the colony, but they really don't. Careful, they'll get you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna smoke them really good. It gets pretty wild when you're doing this. And I have, this lid has a bunch on here. All right, now we're gonna grab a queen excluder. Wait, we gotta put some frames in there. So you haven't been popped yet, have you? They're really not. They're really
I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to jinx it.
They're really not. They're not aggressive though, are they? I mean, they're just flying.
Again, if you were to come into my house, I think I'd be a little aggressive too.
So we're gonna put a frame like this, and we're gonna put a frame of drone comb in there. They do have some brood in there still, so let's just put another frame of drone comb and then another foundation frame. I know we're doing this right in the middle, which who knows if that's right or wrong. Actually, let's move this one over. That's a nice frame of brood. We'll put it right there. Actually, Brian, move that one over.
Sure.
And I'm gonna put this one in between. So we're kind of checkerboarding drone comb with brood, but man, they will close that in quick and she'll start laying and hopefully draw these new frames out very quickly as well. So I'm gonna smoke them really good, smoke them heavy.
All right. Come on, girls.
They tend to run up and out lots of times, but they'll figure it out. They always do. So we're gonna put a queen excluder on here. The queen excluder is gonna keep the queen down there, so it'll be easy to do the split next week when we decide to do that. Put the old box on here like this. Now we're gonna start filling this thing up. Now what I want in this second box, this will be the one we pull the split out of.
Okay.
That's how I'm gonna do it anyway. So I wanna have a little bit of food, maybe a food frame on each side, because I might, if we have enough brood, if it looks good next week, I might actually pull 2 splits out of it, I'm not sure. So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I got some food here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start putting brood in here. I want this thing to be covered up with brood, with bees next week when I pull it, so we got plenty of bees in population when we take the split away. There's brood right there. I'll put it in. That one, yeah, let's do that one, and that's a good one. And that's
Wow.
4 frames. We'll go 5 frames. We'll just basically put all the brood in here. Why don't we just do that?
Okay.
And yeah, we got, well, actually 6 frames of brood. So if it looks good next week, we might actually get 2 splits out of here. Then we'll take some.
You got some brood here too.
We got some food right here. Oh, you got brood there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, just drop it right in here.
Yeah, we need to get that in here.
Okay, and then we're just gonna put that other box on and we'll put everything else in there. And what we'll do next week is we'll come in here, we'll take the top box off, pull everything out of here that we feel like we need to for splits, put them either in a couple of nukes, probably a couple of nukes, or if we just take the whole box, we'll do that. Should have a bunch of bees in here, hopefully. But because the queen excluder's down here beneath them, the queen can't come up, and so we don't have to worry about finding her next week. And we'll also check all the frames for queen cells, make sure there's no queen cells, because when we drop our new queen cells in there, we don't want these bees killing that new queen when she emerges. That's the Stevens method. Corey Stevens talks about how you put the bees, you kind of get the split set up, wait 7 to 9 days, go back, destroy any cells that they've created, and then they're hopelessly queenless. There's nothing they can do except besides accept that new queen. It's a really high acceptance rate. And so that's what we're gonna try. I'm doing it on all my splits we're doing now, this first go around, and we'll see what happens. So let's stick that other box on there, and we'll just fill it up with frames. And then when we pull the split out of this pink box right here, then we'll just drop this top box down. It'll be a double deep again, and they can move up and hopefully make us a nice honey crop. It's kind of my thoughts and projections right now anyway. You know, I imagine here within a couple hours, honestly, those bees will be moved on up into where all the brood is and tending to it, and then hopefully next week we can put out a nice split. We're going through all the colonies here in Newton at the farm and up in Ozark, and just take out, get splits set up the best way we can, and that's our goal today, Brian. We're going to do that, and let's get busy, man.
Let's do it.
We're up in Ozark now. There's Brian. Working through some hives here. We just set this one up for a split, and that one right there has some queen cells that were emerged, either superseded the queen or had to make an emergency queen for some reason. But anyway, they seem to be happy, and so there must be a virgin in there somewhere, some kind of queen in there. We're just trying to work through the bees. You having a good time, Brian?
Man, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wow. Pollen, nectar.
Seeing a lot of bees. You learning anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I only have 6 hives, and so until you really work a bee yard like this, it's really kind of hard to really bring it. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's really kind of hard to really appreciate it as much, But I really appreciate you having me today, Bruce.
Absolutely, it's been a blast.
Had a blast. I have had a blast.
Still got a lot to do, but we're getting there. Well, we've been at it all day, Brian. It's been fun. Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. Yeah, I learned a lot. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a blast. I think we ended up breaking out probably at least 25 splits or so. I don't know, quite a few. We're going to see how it works out. Going to use that Stevens Queen introduction technique next week and see how it goes. I appreciate you coming, and safe travels, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You have a good one.
Bye, guys.
It's March 2nd. It's been 5 days since Brian and I set up this split right here. If you remember, we shook all the bees down below the queen excluder right here into this bottom box. And so I should be able to pull some splits off above that queen excluder. And I hope to get at least 1, possibly even 2 splits out of this. I was hoping to wait another day or 2, but we found out the queen cells are coming a day earlier than we thought. And so I got to get on it here. Got a lot of work to do. We'll see how it goes. I have seen some drones flying in and out, so I think these bees are definitely ready to be split. Not a ton of activity in this top box right here, which is to be expected because all the brood pretty much is down below in that next box down, the brood that we moved up. Just a few bees up here. I will tell you though, they're putting a little nectar in up here. Some of that might have been in there before, I don't remember. But this box, we're gonna drop it down where the pink box is when we're done pulling this split. And then the queen can move up in here and start laying. We're gonna remove that queen excluder, so ought to work out good. So as you can see here, we have a fair number of bees. What I have to do though is pull these frames out and kill any queen cells that are being developed here so they will be more likely to accept the queen cell that we introduce tomorrow evening. I don't really want to smoke them very much if I can help it because I want the bees to stay up here in this box. take as many of these bees away as possible. This is mostly a food frame. I'm hoping just to split this into 2 colonies. So I'm going to into that frame and set it over there in the nuke box. Population doesn't have to be huge in here, just enough to cover the frames of brood, whatever brood there is in here. Just going to split them basically 50-50, I think. Take 5 frames in the one box and 5 frames in the other and roll with it. Got to look carefully for queen cells. There's one right there. Need to mash, see? We're making that into an emergency cell. Got to get rid of all the queen cells to help promote queen acceptance. Going to make sure we don't have any eggs in here, make sure the queen is down below. I do see some larvae in here, but it's all too old, I think, for them to make a queen out of. All right, good deal. So you've got a pretty good population of bees up here. Kind of going right down the line. That's 2 frames of brood in the nuke over there. We'll put 2 frames of brood in the other nuke. Yeah, mature larvae all through here and cap brood. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Put that in the other nuke box. There's a little queen cell right there. I'll make sure we get rid of that. We don't want them to make a queen out of their queen cell and reject ours. There's another one right there. Gotta look close. Another one. Here's another frame of brood. This is going to be a strong split, I think, right here with all this brood we're putting in there. Brian, if you're watching this, I think we did a good job splitting this colony. And this one right here has a little brood on it too. We'll go ahead and put that back in the first nuke box over here. And then we have 2 frames of primarily food right here. A little bit of brood on this one right here. A little brood right down here and a queen cell right there. Mash that queen cell. They're starting to actually backfill some nectar into these cells right here. Just as a sign, I think that these bees certainly are queenless when we pull this off of here. All right, I feel good about it. And here's a food frame. Nice food frame. And take these bees right here, whatever's left in here, and shake them into the nukes. Okay, gonna remove the queen excluder. Okay, so now the queen should be down here. On this, for the case of the video, I'll pull a couple frames out here and let you look real quick. This is a frame of foundation we put in. You can see they're starting to build it out, which is a good sign. That's good. That's what we want to see. Pull up a brood frame and see if we can confirm some eggs in here. I know you can't see this, but there are eggs right along in here, so we're in good shape. So I'm going to close this thing up. We're going to set that second box back on here. This box right here that was on the top, we're going to set on here like this. Now the bees can move up into here. The queen has free range to move up in here and start laying. And so that'll really allow them to explode up in here. We've taken away some of the population, which will hopefully decrease their swarming tendency. Now they have plenty of room. So this colony should be set for a little while. Hopefully turn into a nice production colony. At this point in time, I can just let them grow here for a few weeks and see where they're at. We could pull another split off of them or just let them be a production colony. Here are the nukes that we pulled off. In each of these, we have 3 fairly solid frames of brood. Nice looking brood in the middle of both of these and a food frame on the outside. So they should be set up to become some nice colonies. They got plenty of resources, and I'm excited to see how they do. So now I'm going to go through as many colonies as I can today, and I'm hoping to pull out 30 to 35 splits or more just like this. We'll see how it goes. Some big drones right there. Look at that big old drone. I think we're going to get some nice splits out of this one. There's the queen excluder. And there are the bees above that. We have 2 more boxes over here that are full of bees as well. So this is a super strong colony right here. I'm up here in Ozark. It's just a dreary evening. It's getting late. It's getting to be almost dark. And so far I've pulled 7 splits. I think I'm going to have just a few more. Look at all the bees on this comb we pulled up last week for this split. So it's going to be perfect. Just going to take those 5 frames, stick them in the nuke box, and go. Okay, it's dark. I'm down here in Slocum. Just drove down here from Ozark. What an afternoon it's been. See the hives back there. I'm gonna lay some pallets out and just put these nukes on here. And then tomorrow we'll drop some cells in them. But they are not happy. You can hear them buzzing. What a day, oh my gosh. We got some strong splits made. There's one of them there. On their side over there. Just gonna set them up on these pallets. And I'll come down tomorrow and put the queen cells in them. Look at all those bees. Nice strong splits. Unhappy bees right now. But they'll settle in once we get the queen cells in there, hopefully, and they emerge. Hopefully a vast majority of them will get mated and we'll have us a bunch of nice splits. Well, it's the next day, March 3rd. Finally got them all pulled. Some of these are production colonies out here, but total of 30 colonies here in this spot right now here in Slocum. And I pulled 5 more from down here in Slocum. I'm going to take them up to the farm. If you remember, this is the 4-way split we did in that video a while back. I did add a box to the one on the far side right there. I'll leave a link to the video in the description below. So I got to get these other colonies transferred up to the farm, and then we'll get some cells and put them in here later this afternoon. We're back down here. It's a little bit later in the afternoon, and you can see it's quite windy. It's been weird. It's like the weather can't decide what it wants to do. It's been sunny. Right now the sun's kind of trying to peek through the clouds up there. We've just had a front moving through and the bees have been feisty. It's been quite the adventure getting these splits pulled off. But finally we're down to the last step. Let me show you what we have here. Look at these beautiful cells. We've got 40 of them. Look how pretty they are. Never ceases to amaze me what the bees can do. We got these from a beekeeper down in Florida. Just beautiful cells. I'm doing something a little bit different this time. I'm using these little orange cell protectors. I think you just order them from any beekeeping supply store. If there's a pretty good population of bees, which I think there is in most of these, I'm just going to kind of set it over the top bars. So I've got the cell right here. Beautiful cell. Just set it down inside the little cell protector. Like that. Then you just kind of pry the frames apart. Just set it down in there. You can see the bees are just really interested in it. These cells are supposed to hatch this evening. That's one reason we need to go ahead and get them today. They're actually a day earlier than we thought they were going to be. But the bees are checking it out. It's pretty cool stuff. The first one I did over there, the bees just literally ran towards the cell, but look at them. I don't know if you can tell, but they are very interested in that cell. So that, to me, that indicates it's probably a viable cell. That's pretty exciting. One thing I like about these cell protectors is they've got this rigid area here in the top. When you put it between the frames and you kind of try to push the frames back together, it can't squish the cell. I like that. Do this one a little differently. Just to show you one thing you can do. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I think you can also take the cells from the cell protector and then you can put them right here like this. You can put them into the frame. Those little spikes stick into the brood there, into the frame. Make sure we got room there. I want to make sure there's brood on both sides. So on this one there is brood. See right there? You can just take it, put it in there like that, and press the frames together. And that way the little spikes on both sides will hold it between the frames, between that brood there. And she'll get released. I think a lot of people do it that way. The key is that you have enough population of bees to cover up the cell until it emerges, just to make sure it doesn't get too cold. But I don't think we have that problem. You see we got plenty of bees in this hive right here. All this splitting has culminated now, and we're doing the final step. It's so much fun. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of these cells in the rest of these colonies, and then we'll wrap it up. Between the crazy weather, the cranky bees, and even starting these splits a week ago, having Brian down to help set up these splits, it's been quite the adventure. I used the Stevens queen introduction method that Corey Stevens told me about in a recent interview. I think it's going to work out good. If you want to see the details on that, you can watch the video right here. Y'all take care, be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.